Good afternoon, everybody. It is 4:30 p.m. Sunday, July 6th, 2025. I have a dream for you, and this one's actually particularly interesting. They're always kind of interesting, but you know how you know what? No, I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. Okay, so I had a number of dreams. I don't remember most of them, unfortunately, but this one I remember. In the dream, I was talking with somebody. I was talking with this girl, this young woman, right? Apparently she and I were part of this group of girls who hung out for some reason, and this other girl told me that this other girl was angry with me, right? And I was like, what? Why? And she explained to me that apparently she saw me grab like a manuscript or some kind of like blueprint, right? Something, like a paper of hers, from her like home area. I like jumped a fence, a short fence, grabbed it, and then left. And I was like, I stood there. We were in this city, right? We're in this part of this like city or this town that's abandoned, just hanging out. And I was like, I stood there a little bit. I was like thinking, just staring at this other girl. I was like, oh, I went like a, oh, fuck. And then started running towards where the other girl was, and down this like dirt road. And this road was really wide. It's like a really wide dirt road. All the houses were abandoned. Some of them were destroyed a little bit. Others were mostly intact. And I was running down this road and turned and went into this like main building that we hung out at. We had all the a lot of the windows, not all of them, but a lot of the windows blown out. And it looked like it had been burned at some point because all charred, but it was mostly intact. And I burst in there and then went to go find the girl in question in one of the rooms. I went down a hallway and then started hanging out on a couch. It was like, or in a chair or whatever. And then I was just like, sorry, here, because I was like out of breath. And then I just gave her the original. So turns out that I don't know exactly why. I thought about it after I woke up while I was in the restroom brushing my teeth, and I think maybe I had a predisposition to like, a disposition to like want to copy and make a copy of all documents I find, and for some reason her document was on the ground outside. It was kind of, it's hard to say exactly. It was like a pseudo video game we were playing. We were like in a video game, like almost like VR, like full dive maybe, I don't know, because it was like Minecraft kind of, but not really. And that fence I jumped was like the height of a Minecraft. I just jumped over 2 blocks or whatever kind of thing, but not really. It's hard to say. It was more realistic. And I remember like hopping the fence, like you know how like they kind of do a bit of a speed, get some speed toward a fence. They grab the the top of the fence with one hand and they hop over it with both legs. You know what I'm talking about? The sideways hop. It was like that. I did that. And I explained to her that basically, I'm so sorry. I saw the document and wanted to make a copy of it. So I took it and went home, made a copy of it, but completely forgot to give it back to you because I was going to give her back the original. I guess I got distracted with a mission or whatever, because the thing was, we were all like, this is weird. This dream is weird. We were all like magical girls or whatever, and or something other like. And I remember we were all in our magical girl outfits hanging out at this place. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I made it, I transcribed it. I wanted to transcribe it, and I did, and I was going to bring the original back, and we got distracted because of that mission we had. And here you go. And she was like, chill. Because I think most people actually, they like me to an extent. Like I'm in real life, I'm fairly amicable. I try my best not to be too prideful about this, because it's like, you know, I'm sure I've pissed people off in the past. But I guess her being angry at me because of it being me, wasn't actually that angry. She was upset, though, is the thing, and I didn't like that. And so I gave it back to her. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for upsetting you. She's, oh, no, oh, thank you. No, it's okay. Thank you for giving it back. And she opened it up, and I was like, what is it, by the way? Like, apparently, I had the ability to transcribe it without actually looking at the document, I guess. Or either that, or I looked at it, transcribed it, and didn't even bother actually looking at what I was transcribing. I don't remember, properly. And it had a bunch of pictures on it, and some like loops and hearts and shapes, and it was like this I don't know, it was just longish, not huge, super long, but it was like a poster, right? It was like a poster, a rolled up poster, that she made, and it had a bunch of pictures of various people of all the girls, and I don't remember what she said, but based on what I could remember seeing, it was basically a little poster of all of the girls hanging out, and like a memorabilia, like a memory kind of poster she made, and it was really pretty. It was really nice, and I basically explained to her, this is the original. I made sure it's the original. I can show you the one I made a copy of. It's not perfect. And I showed it to her. I had it. And what was odd is, I guess I could, conjure up the items. I guess it's we all have, an inventory that's invisible, because clearly I didn't have any pockets in whatever I was wearing. It wasn't it was Magical Girl, but it wasn't it was hard to describe exactly. In many Magical Girl series, some of the clothing can be either too cutesy or sometimes a little too skimpy. It was like we were adults, like adult Magical Girls, and the clothing we had was a little more serious and a little more professional, still cutesy sometimes, or cool looking, depending on who you are. And anyways, I just remember, I don't know why I made that distinction, but I remember that I didn't have the pockets, but I can conjure things up from an invisible inventory or whatever. And I gave it back to her, talked about it, and then there was a commotion, and there was not commotion. She brought me in with her to this other room, to this kitchen in the far end of the building, because we had a party planned, a birthday party, whatever. I was like, oh, that's neat. Either I didn't know, or I think I may not have known. I think they forgot to tell me, or whatever. Or maybe I got the message and I forgot about it, which happens sometimes. I'm not forgetful. I get distracted because there's so much going on in life sometimes, both in real life and also in the dream. And so we were in this kitchen area. It was supposedly there's the water still ran. It was still had running water, and the water was clean, surprisingly, despite the place having been burnt down. And they were had a cake on a counter. I remember walking into the kitchen and past somebody, and turns out, this is where it gets weird. Turns out it was my grandma. I'd walk past her. Sometimes when I walk past somebody, I'll grab on their shoulder gently. I'll put my left hand. If I'm on their right, I'll put my left hand on their right shoulder, so I can walk past them, so they know I'm going by, so they don't actually hit me. If they turn around. And she was like, where is she? Oh, there she is. I was like, hi, I'm here. How's it going? And then they're all just talking. There's just noise, talking noise, right? But I remember I had to use the restroom, and the restroom was in a different building, because the buildings in the area were broken down, so we had to go to an entire almost different area to go use the restroom. And so I was like, so I gotta go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back, okay? All right. And then there's this door with a glass pane on it that was still intact, in the kitchen area, right next to where I was at. It was different from where we came in, because we came in from the other end of this building. It was kind of longish. And I remember there was these windows, because some of the windows were not broken. Some of them were, but this part of the house was a little more intact, kind of. I remember there were these blinds, long blinds, vertical lengths of that hard plastic, blinds you sometimes see in some houses. They can move left and right. And I remember I opened the door to go out, looked forward towards the blinds. That's the direction I was going to go. I was going to go back down the street in the direction of the other part of the house, but I was going to take a left because that's where we came from when I ran down the street. And I noticed, one, the blinds weren't moving, and two, they were closed across the entire street, which is normal. Like there's like a length of line near the rooftops. Why there was like that, I have no idea. Maybe it's for like, maybe we put it up. Maybe we had it for like, if they're set up properly, we could have like a giant screen for like a projector perhaps, or maybe there's some other purpose for it. Maybe it was always there. I don't know. But I noticed the blinds were closed a little bit and they weren't moving. And then I also noticed everything was grayish for some reason. Like my hand was still on the doorknob from the inside, like the inside doorknob. And I noticed it, stopped, looked at it. I was like, oh, hell no. Walked back inside, closed the door, looked through the window of the next room over, closer to the direction to look at the blinds. They were open. I instantly went, hell no, fuck this. And started walking through the house back in that same direction to leave a different way. And everyone's like, what's going on? Like, I ain't no freaking story protagonist. I'm getting out of here. No, fuck that. And I was like freaking out. I noticed something happened when I went through that door. Freaking Twilight Zone kind of shit, you know? I don't know what happened with that door. I told that as I left the building, the way I came in, you know, and everything was normal, I was like, no. You guys don't understand. I went through that door. Those blinds were shut. There was no freaking wind, and everything was like sepia tone, or like grayed out, like black and white, and it was not good. Like, don't go through that door. It's not safe. Something's wrong with that. And some of them were curious. And I was like, I went to the same door from the outside. Everything was fine. And I was telling them, don't go through this door. I was like talking to them through the door, right? And they could see me and I can see them just fine. So it freaked me out. It freaked me out so much because I noticed it immediately. I noticed something was not right. And that was basically the end of the dream. I got up because I actually had to use the restroom in real life. That's why I had to use the restroom in the dream, because I had to use the restroom actually. So I got up, used the restroom, and I was thinking about this. I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this because this stuff is jank. This situation, whole jank. But apparently, hopefully in real life it happens too, because that's a good idea. I am the type of person where instead of accidentally going to another realm or to the Twilight Zone and being stuck there because I wasn't paying attention, I am observant enough, at least in my dreams, to notice something's wrong immediately, turn around, and escape. Like, immediately. I didn't even shut the door. My hand was still on the doorknob, on the inside doorknob, when I was trying to leave the building. It was freaky. It was very freaky, but also I found it really interesting and funny that I was able to deduce that. Because I knew the blinds, I remember seeing the blinds open when I had first arrived, and so when I saw the blinds closed, which is hard to miss, because it was a huge thing, right? The blinds were as tall as a building, a one-story building, right? It's 1 story tall, because that's how tall it was, the buildings it was attached to. And I was like, wait, something's wrong here. And I noticed there's no wind. Everything was dead quiet. The blinds were closed. And I remember them being open. And I realized the color was wrong. Everything was black. There was color, but it was like a muted color. And just immediately went inside. Oh, also, I went inside, looked at the blinds, noticed they were opened, and then opened the door again and saw that it was closed again. And this time there was a little bit of wind. As if something was paying attention to my observations and trying to change it to make it better. And then I went back inside, wide-eyed, and said, hell no. And explained everything. As I was trying to quickly, like fast walking, like really quickly, going the other side of the house. And the thing is, my grandma, she's passed away. Like a couple years now. And I don't remember my grandma being there after I came back through the door. So whatever it was, I somehow either went to the Twilight Zone or the afterlife by accident. And I kept my grip on that doorknob. I'm so glad I did, because if I'd let go of that and it shut on me, I would have been screwed. I would have been stuck in there. So something was going on. In hindsight, we were magical girls, so maybe there was some kind of like nonsense going on. Maybe a villain was like there to attack us, perhaps, and do stuff, or maybe it had nothing to do with villains. Maybe it was just happenstance. Maybe we were magical girls, but maybe there were no villains. Perhaps there was just like anomalies we had to take care of, and maybe that's an anomaly. I don't know, but I literally went like, I ain't no freaking story protagonist. I'm getting out of here. Because like, and I didn't want to become a side character either. So I was just like, no, not happening. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was really interesting, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because like, I'm observant. I'm not perfectly observant. I miss things sometimes, definitely, but I'm pretty observant. I pride myself on that. And I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to share with you, and so, anyways, hope you enjoyed this nonsense. I gotta get up and do chores and stuff like that, and I'll talk to you later. Be aware, people. Be observant, because you never know. You may end up in the Twilight Zone without noticing, and once you're in, you're stuck. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye.